You know, I want to take a few minutes to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's having equipment that suits you just right. You know, it's really an important factor as you get to be a better and better player that you get rewarded when you make a good swing. It's actually the case that if your equipment does not suit you quite right, you can hit a fantastic shot that doesn't go straight at all. And how horrifying that is. You need to be rewarded when you make your best swing. So I want to talk a little bit about club fitting, why it's important, how it works, and how to get that done. Now, club fitting is basically the idea of getting the club length just right, the hand size just right, that's the grip, and the all-important factor, which is the lie angle, which I'm going to talk about in a second here. I want you to imagine that if I were going to hit a shot, and let's say that I were to make my best swing at it and really hit a good one, if I were to make my very best swing and hit a perfect shot, well, my body would be in a certain position, the club would have a certain length to it, and the swing would work just so. But if I were to change a factor, let's say that I were to make this club all of a sudden a foot shorter, well, now that would be a terrible shot. All of a sudden I would pass right over it and I wouldn't even make contact. So now I would have to move my body in a very different way just to make contact. So all of a sudden I had to manipulate my swing to make the contact that I wanted. That's not what you want in this game. Now, there's not a right or wrong answer when it comes to choosing equipment in terms of the brand name. You know, I like to use the example of shoes. You could make me the greatest pair of shoes in the world, custom made, $4,000 a pair. But if you made them 9 wide, I'm going to hate them because I wear a size 12 narrow. It's not the shoe's fault. It was perfectly fine. It's that it didn't fit me. Golf equipment is exactly the same way. There's so many good clubs out there right now, but again, they have to suit you and fit you. And that's something that you're going to want to have done, is to get your equipment suited to your game. Now, what we're going to do is talk about lie angle, and that's why this board is down here. Lie angle is how the club strikes the ground at impact. Not so much how it sets up at address, but that very important moment of truth where the club makes contact with the ball. We need the club to hit the ground flat at impact. If it's hitting the ground on the toe or on the heel, that's actually going to make the ball go a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left. The way we check this factor is with a lie board, and you have to do it in a dynamic fashion, which means you have to be hitting. Now, the reason you have to do it dynamically, where you're actually hitting, is that everybody has their own unique hitting motion, and it's not necessarily right or wrong. Nick Faldo and Nick Price, both great players and great hitters, hit with their hands very low. Peter Jacobsen, who's a great hitter, hits with his hands high. So again, it's not a right or wrong thing. It's okay to have your hands a little high or a little low, but you have to know which one it is for you. And that's where the impact board comes in handy. What I do is I go ahead and strike full shots off the impact board, and hopefully you can have an experienced club fitter there with you that can help you to analyze it. When you're swinging, you want that club to be hitting the ground absolutely flat at impact. Now again, that doesn't mean it's going to start at impact that way. There's a couple of things that happen when you swing a golf club. The centrifugal force acts on the head and actually bends the shaft just a little bit downward. Also, the centrifugal force of the swing tends to straighten out your left arm with the club a little bit. So a club that suits you most likely will have the toe part up in the air just a little bit. This club suits me just perfectly, and as you can see, the club is actually up in the air just a little bit at address. Now, how do you know if you've made a good fit? Is that you want to look at the golf club and the wear mark it's making. You want to see a situation where the dirt is straight across the face. That means it's hitting the ground flat. If you get an incorrect fit, that dirt will be on an angle like this. Now, if it's angled like that, that means the toe is digging in too much at impact. And what they do is they actually get you a set of clubs that's bent upward just a little bit like this. Now, this is an extremely important factor because, again, if it's not hitting the ground flat, you can hit with the club face dead square, but the club is still looking the wrong direction and will send the ball crooked anyhow. When that happens, even on a great swing where the club is square, your brain is going to say, no, I didn't do that right, keep trying. You know, that's how we learn, is that we hit until we get rewarded and then we try to reproduce that. So you have to get a true feedback on things. Also, having equipment that fits you allows you to be truly handless, where you can play out on the golf course without thought. And again, this is absolutely huge at this level, is to be able to swing and get rewarded. So you're going to want to get fitted, the length of the club, and again, an experienced club fitter can help you with that. Grip size is also a piece of cake. You're going to go ahead and try some different sizes that feel comfortable to you. So getting those factors of length, lie angle, and grip size are important to have that all-important handlessness through impact, where I don't need to compensate through impact for something that the club is trying to do. I can't tell you how important this is. It is huge.